You know, people have different definitions for courage, for what makes a hero. And I truly think it boils down to being willing to respond in whatever manner that is. There was a gentleman that was trying to get back in the building. I realized that he had been struck in the back of the head with a piece of the building. I didn't know if it was a door, if it was a ceiling, or whatever it was. So the clinic was right there. So I walked him into the clinic and we opened the doors. There was this one major, Army major, Major Brown, who was responsible for everything. She had a radio in her hand, had the only communication with inside the building. She was directing triage, she was directing patient care, and I walked up to her because obviously she was in charge and said, I have a patient, and she pointed where he needed to go, and I said, by the way, Major, I also have medical training, and she had somebody slap a EMT vest on me, and next thing I knew, I had 4 other people, and we were heading back in towards the building. We didn't really have any time to be afraid. We had to respond, but I think I'd be lying. I know I'd be lying if I said I wasn't afraid. I remember one point when I had left each one of my team members at one of the doors that comes across the corridor, and I was the last one to go into this dark corridor, and I just thought, wow, I could die today. It hit me for a fleeting second, but that was about it. Everybody responded, and it didn't even seem to faze you. You know, you just did it. You just responded. But when you think about it, there was a lot of carnage and a lot of bad things done to good people. People who were out of pain because unfortunately they had expired. There was people with limbs still attached to their body, people with limbs severed from their body. We were trained for that type of situation, but there was also people that weren't trained for that, but they knew they wanted to help their fellow man and woman. So I think that's what defines courage in a hero, is someone who's willing to respond in an adverse situation. That's really what defines courage in a hero to me.